become a famous poet. His friends often told him to approach the king, Krishnadevaraya, and to seek a job at the court. The king would pay him well and look after him, because in his court there were many wise and skillful people, and they were all looked after well. Raman, or Tenali Raman, as he was now called, thought that this was an excellent idea. However, he did not know how he could get into the court of the king. Then one day, a man called Cherry, who was very close to the king, came to a place near Tenali. Raman's friends told him about this man. They urged Raman to meet this man. Raman hurried to the nearby village and found Cherry. He begged for an audience with him. And when Cherry heard it was the famous poet, he readily agreed to see Tenali Raman.
Well, who do we have here? Another aspiring poet? Good day, sir. I am Raman, or Tenali Raman, as they call me now. I've heard you are close to the king. Ah, the famous poet. What brings you here? I was hoping for an opportunity to present my poems to the king. Can you please help me get an audience with the king? Your poems, you say? Well, read one for me then, and let me see if you are as good as they say you are.
Raman came before Cherry and was careful to be polite. He did not want to upset the man with his jokes and witty comments. Instead, he read some of his poems. Cherry was quite impressed and nodded his head in appreciation.
Impressive, young man. I'll consider calling for you one of these days. Thank you, sir. I'll eagerly await your summons.
Weeks passed without any news.
No word from Cherry. I'll go to Vijayanagaram by myself and seek a meeting with the king.
Raman went to Cherry's grand house. There were guards at the gate. Raman walked straight into the grounds. When the guards tried to stop him, he brushed them aside disdainfully.
How dare you lay your hands on me? Do you know who I am? An old friend.
The guards were taken aback and allowed Raman to enter the house.
Cherry, it's me, Tenali Raman. You said, guards, get this man out of here.
Raman gets thrown out by the guards.
I won't forget this.
The following day, after Raman had time to think and nurse his bruised limbs and his pride, he made his way to the king's court. magician, dressed in a long flowing robe and wearing a hat, appeared dramatically on the stage. The magician was superb. He performed trick after trick that greatly amazed and entertained the audience. After the last and most difficult trick in the program, one in which the magician appeared to remove his head and hold it aloft in his outstretched hand, the crowd went wild with delight. The applause in the hall rattled the rooftop like thunder. Then, as silence slowly returned, the magician turned to the king and announced proudly,
Your Majesty, I hope you have enjoyed my performance. With your permission, I would like to challenge anyone in your court to equal the feats I have performed today. You have my permission.
King turned to see whether anybody would take up the challenge. No hands were raised and no voices were heard. The king was ashamed that there was no one brave enough to take up the challenge. But the jury and the other ministers did not know quite where to look. Then there was a buzz of excitement in the hall as Raman pushed his way to the front, saying,
Your Majesty, may I take up the challenge? What is it? I have better tricks up my sleeve than you could ever dream of. Go on, but make it quick. We haven't got all day. I need something for the trick. Can one of your attendants fetch it? Proceed.
Raman whispers to an attendant and the lady trotted off.
Who are you and where are you from? I am Raman from a small village called Tenali. But nobody here, not even Tatachari, your friend and guru, knows or cares where it is. Well, Tenali Raman, your name is known here today. And if you perform a trick that a friend here cannot equal, then you shall be rewarded with a bag of gold. But I must warn you that if you fail, you will get 1,000 lashes for wasting our time. Certainly, Your Majesty.
Raman now addressed the magician.
Sir, I shall perform a trick with my eyes closed. All you have to do is to perform the same trick with your eyes open.
The magician held his belly and laughed loudly at this proposal.
Ha ha ha! All right.
Raman opened the packet that the attendant had brought. He took a handful of the powder that was in it and then closed his eyes. He sprinkled the powder all over his face and eyes. Raman sneezed loudly.
Achoo! Achoo!
Then he dusted the powder from his face with his towel and opened his eyes.
Now it is your turn, and remember to keep your eyes open. But what is this powder? It is only a little chili powder.
Cheers and applause broke out. The audience fell to the floor with laughter. The king laughed too, and even the jury permitted himself a little smile, grudgingly.
Well done, Raman. You deserve your reward, a bag of gold. And you have earned your place at my court from today. Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored. I have not laughed so much in ages. You are indeed a funny fellow. My dear ministers, learn one thing from today. Never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps you make a living, the other helps you make a life.